Hello there and welcome back to another edition of Silly Car Showdown. Today we are taking a look at the Nissan Skyline GTR. This is the 2002 model, also known as the R34. And just before we get into today's episode, I'd just like to point something out. If you are a talented livery creator, then do I have something for you to do? Please make a decent JGTC livery for this car. They're extremely difficult to find, as it turns out. This is pretty much the... this one, I even have issues with this one. Not the obvious issue, which you can probably see there. There's a couple of other minor things. If you want to make some good JGTC liveries for the Skyline, please do let me know. And I will be quite happy to give you the recognition you deserve, because most of them aren't very good. I'm sorry. You are all more talented than I ever will be at livery creating, but yeah, most of these are just bad. So if you don't mind, that'd be lovely. Anyways, we're not here to critique liveries today, we're here to actually tune this car up. And, well, let's take a look at some engines. Of course, we have the standard RB26 if need be, but there is a 6.2 litre V8, which is sacrilege to Skyline fans. 4.5 litre V8, that's sacrilege to Skyline fans. Or the 6 litre V12. That's also sacrilege, but sod it. I'm having it. I want it. Yes, V12 Skyline sounds like my sort of thing. The PI on this is going to be phenomenal by the looks of it. Right, of course, apparently this is also one of the only sort of designs for this car that doesn't require any form of aftermarket body kit, which is nice as well. Of course, if you decide to make one, that doesn't really matter. Sure, I will have the slightly nice looking Nismo rear bumper, I guess. Okay, that doesn't break. I'm trying to find one that doesn't break the design. That seems to not do that, so we will have that because they reduce drag slightly, which is always useful, I guess. Also, it's nice to just put the body parts on the cars. Okay, we are already up into R class with the addition of race tyres, which is good. 295s on the front, excellent. Also no drivetrain swaps, hence why this is staying all-wheel drive, as it should be. I'm willing to put a V12 in it, I'm not going to rear-wheel drive swap it. I mean, I have done in the past. You can check out various things on my channel of me doing very, very silly things to this car. Wow, that driveline drops a ton of weight in this car, apparently. Anyways... speaking of weight, we should really get to removing that, because this car is rather heavy, as you'd expect for something that's got native all-wheel drive. Right, we will have that, we will have that. Roll cage is going to add quite a bit of weight, hopefully weight reduction. Hopefully that puts us to like 2,700. Not quite. We're going to have quite a heavy car on our hands. It's hopefully going to be decent with P-Class, okay. Was not expecting to get P-Class with the Skyline, but apparently that is what we are doing. This might actually become one of the higher PI cars we've ever had in the series. I'm just trying to think in terms of high PI cars. I guess the Lotus, that was like P924? I can't think of anything that went higher than the Lotus. The Ford GT was R-Class. Can't remember what the Acura was. I think the Acura is like low P-Class as well. Yeah, okay, so I might not quite beat the Lotus with this one, but we are certainly going to do pretty well. P922. Yeah, was not quite expecting this to get into P-Class, and apparently there is a restrictor on it for reasons. Right, that is our Skyline built up. Kind of curious, again, really curious to see how this one actually does. I mean, it's going to do well, probably. 1,182 horsepower, 857 foot-pound torque, 2,940 pounds weight, front weight distribution of 52%, which is actually pretty good for this classic car. P922Pi, front-engined, all-wheel drive. It is going to be quick. The question is, just how quick? Anyways, to find out how our V12 Skyline gets on, it is going to get 7 laps of the Brands Hatch Indy course, set the best time it possibly can. Current leader is the Lotus Elise GT12, that's at a time of 43.846. The GTR, if it's good, oh my god, it's quick. The speed, there's many a speeds in our Skyline. Also, this car has a working odometer, so you can see how many miles I've done in the R34. I think I've driven this for Top Gear laps, which is probably why there's so many on it. And for various other things. Again, if you're a Skyline fan, wouldn't recommend them. If you like making fun of Skyline people, then I would. By jingo, this is quick. It's, yeah, cornering, not so much. Braking, probably not so much. This car is all going to be about straight line acceleration, I feel. Yeah, definitely going to be straight line acceleration, this one. How fast can we go down here? 181. We are not going to get stopped, though. Okay. Yeah, need to adjust my braking zones accordingly for the Skyline. I love the fact that this car reads in kilometers an hour, and the kilometers an hour just sort of rapidly climb as this car, yeah, it's a lot quicker than it probably was stock. And of course, every car in Japan is limited to 180 kilometers an hour, so yeah, this can obviously do a fair bit more than that. I mean, it can stock, but now, yeah, I might check what the straight line speed is. Unfortunately, I'm not in the test drive mode currently, so I can't really check that, but I'd be interested to see what sort of overall top speed actually comes out of this is. We are going to brake there. Don't know why the game keeps stuttering every time I set a lap time, but there you go. Yeah, the problem I've got, I can trust the speed. The speed is excellent and it's fantastic. And the handling's pretty good now that I'm sort of getting used to driving such a high-powered all-wheel drive car. The main issue I'm having is the brakes are not quite up to snuff compared to the rest of the car. I mean, that's understandable. They're made to stop, you know, a modified Skyline. And, you know, these cars are plenty quick stock. But they're not made to, you know, this car has 6 times the power it does stock. So, yeah. It's a lot quicker. 46.175. Okay, that's more like it. We are going to go off slightly, though. Yeah, I'm just not sure what I'm doing in terms of braking or anything. It's a very odd experience, the old Skyline. There we go. I'm going to get a bit of a four-wheel drift. I will say, in terms of putting this against the NSX and the Lotus, this does not drive as nice as either of those two cars. This against the BMW, maybe this is slightly better to drive. The i8 was good. The reason the i8 was so dominant at first was just because that was the only real car, that was the only P-Class car we'd had, or anything like that, so that's why that was dominant at first. But of course this car is sort of, yeah, you know, obviously we've had many other P-Class cars since then, the NSX and the Lotus, and they've kicked the poor little BMW's arse. This is probably more of a comparison to that car than it is to, you know, the Lotus or the wide guy NSX. As far as straight line speed goes, though, it is quicker than both of those. By miles, it is quicker than both of those cars. This thing is just, it's just stupid fast. And I quite like that about it, not gonna lie. It is very, very mental. 45.860. Okay, that does beat the i8. Can it get any quicker? I'm starting to get a little bit more used to it now. You can probably tell I'm starting to be able to push it a little bit more here and there. There we go. Just as soon as you can get the speed down, it is such an amazing feeling because you just launch. You just speed. There is, like, it's insane. It is absolutely insane to push the launch button on this. It's not an accelerator pedal, it's just a journey into space and time. Is basically what this car's right trigger is. Anyways, as we come on to the final lap, again, I can still be a little bit more liberal on the brakes than I was there, but I just don't trust it. That first corner, not quite as good. Yeah, this is looking like it's not going to be any quicker. If it is, I will be surprised. little bit wide out on there, but didn't really do much, although, yeah, that's not looking like it's going to be any quicker of a lap anyway. It could probably go quicker, to be honest with you, than I'm pushing it, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure just how much quicker. Anyways, as we spin all the wheels, we come on to the start-finish line. 45.860 is the time for the V12 Skyline. Yeah. Mighty fast. Mighty impressive through the corners, actually, once you're used to it. Just really could do with some better brakes. Really could do with better brakes to slow this thing down. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't really sure what to expect from it. I wasn't expecting it to be P-Class for a starter. And I wasn't quite sure if it was going to mix truly with supercars or anything like that, but it does. A 45.860 will put it into 4th place. It is slightly slower than the Ford GT4 rotor. Interestingly enough, that wasn't P-Class, that was actually an R-Class car. But then again, the Ford GT a lot more controllable, a lot more suited to this track, just because it did have much better brakes. It is quicker than the i8, the NASCAR 928 GTS, the MX-5 Super 4 rotor. Yeah. Not too bad though. I mean, it's only under the second down on the NSX, and that's, you know, a very modern high-performance hypercar. Hell, that had the wide body on it as well. So that had, I say hypercar, it's not a hypercar. You know, it's not too far off the NSX, and that's a modern supercar with a wide body, which meant that it had super wide tires. Considering this is just running its standard form, yeah, it is surprisingly good. Anyways, that is it for this edition of the Silly Cars Showdown. I do hope you've enjoyed. As always, if you'd like to request cars for this series, you can do so in the comments section. My name has been Emile. You can check out my personal channel in the description below. But with that all being said and done, thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, farewell.